Most people spend years feeling tired, slow, and unlike themselves, believing that these changes are simply a normal part of getting older. The constant exhaustion that remains even after a full night of sleep. The stiffness and discomfort in the body when getting up in the morning. The moments when your mind feels cloudy in the afternoon and it becomes harder to focus. Many people blame these things on age, pressure, or the natural process of life. But sometimes the real reason is much simpler. It can come down to what your body is receiving from the foods you eat every day. One of the most common nutritional problems around the world is iron deficiency. A huge number of people do not get enough iron from their diet. And that matters because iron plays a vital role in the body. It helps your blood carry oxygen to your organs, your muscles, and every cell that keeps you functioning. When your body does not have enough iron, it can affect energy levels, concentration, and overall health. Today, we are going to explore 17 powerful foods connected with traditional diets, many of which were valued for centuries, and learn how they can support a healthier lifestyle. Before we begin, remember that this information is for education only. It is not a replacement for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from a qualified healthcare professional. Always speak with your doctor before making major changes to your diet, supplements, or health routine. The first food on our list is pistachios. Pistachios have a fascinating history that goes back thousands of years. In biblical times, valuable foods from the land were considered important gifts, and pistachios were among the prized foods of the ancient Middle East. They were not treated as ordinary snacks. They were viewed as something special and worth offering. Today we know that pistachios are more than just a tasty nut. They contain a meaningful amount of iron, along with nutrients like potassium, vitamin B6, fiber, and plant-based protein. The combination of protein and fiber can help support balanced blood sugar after meals, while potassium plays an important role in maintaining healthy blood pressure. Pistachios also contain antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin, compounds that are especially important for eye health as we age. Another benefit is that pistachios are relatively satisfying compared with many snack foods, meaning a small portion can help control hunger without needing a large amount. A simple trick is to choose pistachios that still have their shells. The process of opening each shell naturally slows you down, and seeing the empty shells reminds you how much you have already eaten. This small habit can make it easier to avoid overeating. Try choosing unsalted or lightly salted pistachios, especially if you are watching your sodium intake. For better iron absorption, combine them with foods rich in vitamin C, such as oranges or berries, because vitamin C helps the body absorb plant-based iron more effectively. Of course, people with tree nut allergies should be careful because reactions can be serious. Also remember that nuts are calorie-dense, so a small handful is usually enough. Spinach itself was not directly mentioned in scripture because it became common in that region later, but ancient cultures regularly consumed leafy green vegetables that provided minerals and nutrients. Foods like spinach fit into that long tradition of using dark greens as an important part of the diet. If you prefer foods with a stronger historical connection to the region, other greens such as chard or mustard greens offer similar nutritional benefits. Spinach is known as a good plant source of iron. When cooked, the leaves shrink down, concentrating the nutrients into a smaller serving. However, there is something important to understand. The iron in spinach is non-heme iron, which means it is not absorbed by the body as easily as the iron found in animal foods. Spinach also contains compounds that can reduce iron absorption. That does not mean spinach is a bad choice. It simply means preparation matters. Adding lemon juice, vinegar, or another vitamin C source can help your body absorb more of the available iron. Lightly cooking spinach with a little olive oil is often better than boiling it for a long time because excessive cooking can reduce some nutrients. Frozen spinach can also be a practical option because it is affordable and lasts longer than fresh leaves. One important caution is that spinach contains a high amount of vitamin K. People who take blood-thinning medications such as warfarin should keep their intake. The third food is beef liver. For thousands of years, many cultures considered organ meats some of the most valuable parts of an animal. They were not viewed as waste. They were recognized as concentrated sources of nutrition. In ancient traditions, the liver was often treated with special importance. Today, modern nutrition explains why. Beef liver is one of the richest natural sources of iron available. Unlike plant-based iron, the iron found in liver is heme iron, which the body absorbs much more efficiently. But iron is only one reason liver is so nutrient-dense. It also provides large amounts of vitamin B12, copper, folate, and vitamin A. Vitamin B12 becomes especially important as people age because absorption can decrease over time. A small serving of liver can provide a significant amount of the daily requirement. The biggest challenge for many people is the strong flavor. If you are not used to it, the taste can feel intense. One method is soaking liver in milk before cooking, which can make the flavor milder. Cooking it quickly with onions can also improve the texture because overcooking can make it tough. If beef liver feels too strong, chicken liver can be a gentler introduction. However, this is a food where moderation matters. Liver contains very high levels of vitamin A, and excessive amounts can be harmful, especially during pregnancy. People with conditions involving excessive iron storage should also avoid high iron foods like liver unless advised otherwise by a healthcare professional. For many people, a small serving occasionally can provide powerful nutrition, but it is not something that needs to be eaten every day. Cook consistent and discuss dietary changes with their healthcare provider. If spinach is not your favorite, vegetables like kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard can provide similar benefits. The fourth food on our list is raisins. Raisins have been part of human diets for thousands of years. In ancient times, dried grapes were considered valuable because they were easy to store, simple to carry, and provided a concentrated source of energy during long journeys. In biblical history, raisins were mentioned several times. They were used as supplies for travelers, soldiers, and people who needed a quick source of nourishment. When grapes are dried, the water is removed, which concentrates many of their nutrients. Raisins provide small amounts of iron along with potassium and other minerals that support the body. They also contain boron, a trace mineral that is connected with bone health and does not always receive as much attention as calcium or vitamin D. However, because raisins are dried fruit, the natural sugar becomes much more concentrated. A small handful can provide benefits, but eating large amounts can quickly add a lot of sugar and calories. A practical serving is a small portion rather than eating directly from a large bag. For people who find dried fruit difficult to chew, soaking raisins in warm water for a few minutes can soften them and make them easier to eat. A smart combination is pairing raisins with nuts like pistachios or almonds. This creates a snack that includes minerals, protein, healthy fats, and more balanced nutrition. You can also mix them into oatmeal, yogurt, or whole grain meals. People managing diabetes or blood sugar levels should remember that raisins are still a concentrated source of sugar, even though they come from fruit. Another useful tip is to protect your teeth. Dried fruits can stick to the surface of teeth more than fresh fruit, so rinsing your mouth or maintaining good dental care is important. The fifth food is olives. Few foods have such a strong connection to ancient history as olives. The olive tree appears throughout biblical stories and traditions. It represents peace, abundance, and endurance. The olive branch became a symbol of hope, and olive oil was used for important purposes throughout history. Olive trees themselves are remarkable because they can survive and produce fruit for many generations. Whole olives are not among the highest iron foods naturally, but there is an interesting detail about some modern olives. Many black olives sold in stores gain additional iron through the processing method used to create their dark color. Certain canned black olives are treated with iron-based compounds that help stabilize their color, which also increases their listed iron content. Naturally cured olives may contain less iron, but they provide other valuable compounds, including polyphenol and healthy fats. The main fat in olives is monounsaturated fat, the same type commonly associated with the traditional Mediterranean eating pattern. Olives can be added to salads, vegetables, or blended into spreads with ingredients like garlic and lemon. If you buy canned olives, rinsing them first can help reduce excess sodium. The main caution with olives is salt. Because many olives are cured in brine, people watching blood pressure should pay attention to portion size and choose lower sodium options when available. The sixth food is lentils. Lentils are one of the oldest and most respected foods in human history. They appear in ancient stories and were considered valuable enough to be part of important moments. In biblical accounts, lentils were connected with major events, showing that they were not viewed as a simple side dish but as a reliable and meaningful food source. Nutrition explains why. Cooked lentils provide iron along with large amounts of fiber, folate, magnesium, and plant-based protein. Folate is especially important because it helps the body create new red blood cells, working together with iron to support healthy blood function. Different varieties of lentils, red, green, brown, and black, all provide valuable nutrition. Red lentils become soft and creamy when cooked, while green and brown lentils maintain more texture. Because lentils contain plant-based iron, absorption is lower compared with animal sources. But there is an easy solution. Combine lentils with vitamin C-rich foods such as tomatoes, bell peppers, or lemon. These foods help your body absorb more iron from the meal. Lentils are also practical because they are inexpensive, easy to prepare, and do not require complicated cooking. Adding simple ingredients like onions, cumin, herbs, and olive oil can turn a basic pot of lentils into a flavorful meal. For people who are not used to eating high-fiber foods, lentils may sometimes cause gas or bloating at first. Increasing portions slowly allows the digestive system to adjust. The seventh food is honey. Honey has been valued throughout history as a symbol of sweetness, abundance, and natural energy. The phrase describing a land flowing with milk and honey represented prosperity and richness. Honey was also associated with ancient traditions and daily life. But it is important to understand honey realistically. Honey is not a major source of iron. It contains only very small amounts compared with foods like liver, seeds, or legumes. What honey provides is quick energy, long shelf life, and natural compounds that have made it valuable for generations. Some research suggests honey may slightly support the absorption of plant-based iron when eaten alongside iron-containing foods, but it is not the main factor. Honey has also been traditionally used for soothing the throat, and medical-grade honey is used in some professional wound care settings. A good way to use honey is adding a small amount to nutritious foods like oatmeal, whole grain toast, or meals that already contain iron-rich ingredients. One important warning. Honey should never be given to children under 1 year old because of the risk of infant botulism. For adults, remember that honey is still a form of sugar. People managing diabetes or blood sugar concerns should treat it carefully. Raw honey and regular processed honey are generally similar nutritionally, although raw honey may preserve slightly more natural compounds. The eighth food is pomegranates. Pomegranates have held a special place in ancient cultures for thousands of years. They were seen as a symbol of abundance, beauty, and prosperity. In biblical stories, pomegranates were connected with the Promised Land and were considered one of the valuable fruits of the region. The fruit was even represented in important religious designs, showing how highly it was regarded. Because of its deep red color, many people throughout history associated pomegranates with blood and strength. However, there is an important fact to understand. Pomegranate seeds themselves do not contain a large amount of iron. The red color does not come from iron. It comes from powerful antioxidant compounds called polyphenol. So why is pomegranate still valuable when talking about iron? Because it contains vitamin C and antioxidants that can help the body use iron from other foods more effectively. This makes pomegranate an excellent partner with iron-rich meals. For example, combining pomegranate seeds with foods like spinach, nuts, or legumes creates a meal that includes plant-based iron, vitamin C, and healthy fats together. Opening a pomegranate can seem difficult, but there is an easier method. Cut the skin into sections and break the fruit apart in a bowl of water. The seeds sink while the white inner parts float, making the process much cleaner. Pomegranate can also be used as a flavor addition through pomegranate molasses in sauces, salads, and marinades. The main caution is that pomegranate juice or extracts may interact with some medications. People who take regular prescriptions should check with a healthcare professional before consuming large amounts daily. Fresh pomegranate seeds can be stored in the refrigerator, making it easy to enjoy small portions over several days. The ninth food is pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins themselves were not part of ancient biblical diets because they originated in the Americas, but pumpkin seeds earn their place because of their nutritional value. The idea behind healthy eating is not only about ancient history. It is about choosing foods that provide important nutrients. Pumpkin seeds are one of those foods. These small seeds contain a surprisingly high amount of iron. A small serving can contribute a meaningful amount toward daily needs. They also provide magnesium, zinc, protein, and healthy fats. Magnesium supports muscle function and relaxation, while zinc plays an important role in immune health and the body's ability to repair itself. Pumpkin seeds are easy to include in everyday meals. They can be added to salads, soups, yogurt, or eaten as a simple snack. Roasting them at home with a small amount of olive oil and light seasoning can be a healthier option compared with heavily salted store versions. Common mistake is eating too many because they are small and easy to snack on. Like most nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds contain a lot of calories in a small amount. A measured handful is usually enough. The 10th food is almonds. Almonds have deep historical and symbolic connections. In ancient traditions, almonds were viewed as valuable. They were included among important gifts, and almond blossoms were used in symbolic designs. Beyond their history, almonds are nutritionally impressive. They provide iron, vitamin E, magnesium, fiber, and plant-based protein. Vitamin E acts as an antioxidant and supports healthy skin and cells, while magnesium contributes to many important processes throughout the body. Research on regular nut consumption has often connected nuts with heart health, making almonds a practical addition to a balanced diet. Some people soak almonds overnight because it makes them softer and easier to digest. Almonds can be eaten alone, added to oatmeal, mixed into yogurt, or turned into almond butter. However, almond milk is very different from whole almonds. Many commercial almond milks contain mostly water and provide much less protein and iron than eating the actual nuts. As with other tree nuts, allergies can be serious, and portion size matters because almonds are calorie-dense. A small handful is usually enough to receive their benefits. The 11th food is walnuts. Walnuts have been valued since ancient times. They were associated with gardens and valuable food sources in the ancient world. One unique quality of walnuts is their content of plant-based omega-3 fats, something that separates them from many other nuts. They also provide iron, fiber, and antioxidants. Many people notice that the inside of a walnut looks similar to the shape of a brain. While this is an interesting natural coincidence, the real benefits come from the nutrients inside, not the appearance. Because walnuts contain healthy fats, they can become stale faster than many other nuts. Keeping them in the refrigerator or freezer helps maintain freshness. If walnuts develop a bitter or unusual taste, they may have gone rancid and should not be eaten. Keeping the thin outer skin is beneficial because it contains many natural antioxidant compounds. Walnuts can be added to salads, blended into sauces, or eaten as a small snack. The 12th food is sesame seeds. Sesame seeds have been used for thousands of years across the Middle East and surrounding regions. Although they are not directly named in scripture, they were an important part of ancient food traditions, especially for making oil and breads. Sesame seeds are among the richest plant sources of iron. The outer layer contains much of the mineral content, which means whole sesame seeds may provide more than processed forms. Tahini, the paste made from ground sesame seeds, is still a nutritious option and is widely used in foods like hummus and sauces. Grinding sesame seeds improves how much nutrition the body can access because whole seeds may pass through digestion without releasing all their nutrients. Sesame can be added to vegetables, spreads, dressings, and many traditional dishes. One important point is that sesame is a common allergen, and reactions can be severe for some people. Like many plant-based iron sources, sesame contains compounds that can reduce iron absorption slightly. Combining sesame with vitamin C foods such as lemon can help. The 13th food is dark chocolate. This one surprises many people because chocolate is usually not the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about nutritious foods. Unlike many foods on this list, cacao does not have roots in biblical history. It comes from Central and South America and was unknown to the people of ancient biblical times. But nutrition is what earns dark chocolate its place here. Dark chocolate with a high cacao percentage contains a surprisingly large amount of iron. In fact, varieties made with around 70% to 85% cacao can contain significant levels of iron compared with many common foods. Cacao also contains flavonoids, natural plant compounds that have been studied for their connection with healthy blood vessel function and cardiovascular support. However, the key word is dark. Many popular chocolate products contain large amounts of sugar and milk ingredients, which reduce the nutritional value. When choosing chocolate, look for products where cacao or cocoa appears high on the ingredient list rather than sugar being the main ingredient. Unsweetened cocoa powder is even more concentrated because it does not contain added sugar or extra ingredients. A small amount of dark chocolate can be enjoyed as part of a balanced diet, especially when combined with foods rich in vitamin C, such as oranges, which may support iron absorption. The main thing to remember is moderation. Dark chocolate is still calorie-dense and contains natural stimulants like caffeine and theobromine. People who are sensitive to caffeine may want to avoid eating large amounts, especially later in the day. And remember, chocolate is dangerous for pets like dogs because of compounds that their bodies cannot process safely. The 14th food is fava beans. Fava beans are one of the oldest cultivated legumes in the world. They have been eaten across the Mediterranean and Middle East for thousands of years. In ancient traditions, beans were considered valuable sources of nourishment, especially during times when meat was limited or expensive. Fava beans provide iron, fiber, and plant-based protein. They also contain important nutrients that support overall health. A classic example is the traditional dish known as full medams, where fava beans are slowly cooked with ingredients like garlic, olive oil, and spices. Preparing dried fava beans usually involves soaking them first, which helps reduce cooking time and can make them easier to digest. Canned versions can also be a convenient option when time is limited. But there is one important caution. Some people have a genetic condition called G6PD deficiency. For these individuals, eating fava beans can trigger a serious reaction where red blood cells break down. This condition is more common in certain populations and can lead to symptoms such as fatigue, anemia, or jaundice. Anyone who has experienced a reaction to fava beans or knows they have this condition should avoid them completely and speak with a healthcare professional. The 15th food is chia seeds. Chia seeds became famous in modern nutrition, but their history goes back centuries. They were valued by ancient civilizations in Central America because they were small, easy to store, and provided concentrated energy. Today, chia seeds are recognized for their impressive nutritional profile. They contain iron, fiber, plant-based omega-3 fats, and minerals such as calcium. One reason chia seeds are popular is that they are easy to add to many foods because they have a mild flavor. They can be mixed into smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt, or made into chia pudding. But preparation matters. Chia seeds absorb a large amount of liquid and expand significantly. Because of this, it is better to soak them before eating instead of swallowing dry seeds directly. Eating dry chia seeds without enough liquid can create discomfort, especially for people who have difficulty swallowing. Starting with a small amount is also a good idea because the high fiber content can cause bloating if your body is not used to it. A tablespoon a day is a reasonable starting point for many people. The 16th food is flax seeds. Flax has an interesting historical connection. In ancient times, flax was mainly valued for producing linen, the fabric used for clothing and important textiles. However, the seeds were also consumed and used for oil. Flax seeds provide iron, fiber, and one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fats. They also contain lignans, natural compounds that have been studied for possible health effects, although research continues. The most important preparation tip with flax seeds is grinding them. Whole flax seeds often pass through the digestive system without being fully broken down, meaning the body may not absorb all of their nutrients. Ground flax is much easier for the body to use. You can add it to oatmeal, smoothies, baked foods, or yogurt. Store ground flax in the refrigerator because once it is broken down, the oils inside can spoil faster. Flax seed oil is different. It contains the healthy fats but does not provide the same fiber and iron found in the whole seed. People taking blood-thinning medication or managing hormone-related health conditions should discuss regular high intake of flax with a healthcare professional. The 17th and final food is fish. Fish has a powerful place in history and tradition. Throughout the Gospels, fish appears repeatedly. Several of Jesus' followers were fishermen, and stories involving fish became central parts of the tradition. Fish also became a symbol of faith and was one of the earliest recognizable symbols used by Christians. From a nutrition perspective, fish provides highly valuable nutrients. Iron levels vary depending on the type of fish. Smaller oily fish such as sardines, anchovies, and mackerel generally provide more minerals compared with some leaner varieties. Fish provides heme iron, the type that is absorbed more easily by the body. It also delivers complete protein, vitamin B12, and omega-3 fatty acids that support heart and brain health. For people looking for affordable options, canned sardines or mackerel can be convenient choices that require little preparation. Fresh fish can be prepared simply through baking or grilling without needing heavy cooking methods. Many dietary recommendations suggest including fish regularly throughout the week. However, one thing to consider is mercury. Large predatory fish that live longer can accumulate higher mercury levels. Choosing a variety of fish and including smaller species more often can help reduce this concern.